Hello, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I am Nick from Australia. Welcome to the Saturday football review, Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, however you would like to put it. Hope you guys enjoyed Super Saturday. I sure as hell did. I thought it was outstanding, the day of football. Oh man, I just want to give a quick couple of shout outs to a couple of YouTubers. I want to give a shout out to Isaac Ritchie. I want to give a shout out to Entertain House. Shout out to NRL Vid 090. Shout out to Dane Sullivan. Warriors NRL Fanatics. Go subscribe to those YouTube channels if you haven't already. Also, quick shout out to the Bundy Chick 82. Congratulations on the Roosters beating South Sydney last night. And that's the shout outs. Now let's get into the review. Boy, oh boy, we saw some absolute shocking results today. Results that I did not expect. So we'll go back to the first game, which was Super Saturday, which was the Dragons and the Warriors. The Warriors won that game 18 points to 0. I was very surprised with the Warriors. They completed every single set except for one, which was with about 4 minutes to go. Now, let's get to the Warriors first before I have a little bit of a rant on the Dragons. The problem with good thing with the Warriors today is they started well. I thought their forward pack really played well. I thought that young kid, what's his name, Jermaine Brown, I think his name is. He got the first try, which was unexpected. He was outstanding. I thought Adam Blair was pretty decent today. Roger Tuvasa-Sheck was good at the back as well. I thought Blake Green and Cody Nikorima were really good. I thought Nikorima was outstanding for the Warriors. Isaiah Papali'i played well. I thought the Warriors overall, they were just steamrolling the Dragons through the middle. They were getting some fantastic meters. I thought the Dragons were really poor. You know, I thought Corey Norman was absolutely awful. It's probably one of the worst games that he's ever played. You know, Corey Norman was so bad, it wasn't even funny. I think Corey Norman cares more about his bloody shirt designs more than his fucking rugby league career. I thought he was absolutely garbage, Corey Norman. But what I got to say about the Dragons is they were garbage. They couldn't do anything right. They couldn't complete a set. Every time they got the ball, they did not look dangerous. You know, there's a lot of criticism going towards Ben Hunt at the moment, which I think is absolutely fucking ridiculous. You know, you want to talk about criticism. You're saying Ben Hunt was bad. Okay, I don't think Ben Hunt was great. I don't think he was garbage or anything like that. It's probably decent, probably in the middle. Corey Norman was a lot worse. Corey Norman would not do anything. He made probably 1 or 2 breaks, but that was it. He would barely pass it out wide. His kicking game was shit. His defense was shit. Corey Norman was so bad. And if anyone thinks Corey Norman was good, go and watch the game again if you can, because it was a fucking snooze fest. The Dragons were bad. Corey Norman should be dropped to reserve grade for a week. I know it's the first game back in, 10 weeks or whatever it was, but, you know, you can't be playing like that, especially against a side like the Warriors. All due respect to the Warriors, but, you know, if you look at the sides on paper, you probably go Dragons win, but the Dragons were garbage tonight, you know. Trent Merrin wasn't even there. I don't know why he wasn't playing. He wasn't injured. Trent Merrin should have been playing. James Graham's obviously a front row, not a lock. You know, for the Dragons, I thought Ravalawa was quite good. I thought Tyson Frizzell and Cameron McGuinness were really strong. Pereira played well. But, you know, the Warriors, they were just outstanding. Their full pack was good. Halves were pretty creative. RTS at the back was doing his normal thing. My man the match in the Warriors game would go to probably between Nikorima and Tuvasa-Sheck, but I'm going to give it to Cody Nikorima. I thought he was really dangerous with the ball. He got the defence nervous, scored a nice try. My man the match in that game was Cody Nikorima. I'll give the Warriors' performance probably an 8 out of 10. Completion rate was really strong. I give the Dragons' performance probably a 2 out of 10. They were awful, the Dragons. Awful. Let's move on to the next game, which was the Tigers beating the Sharks. 28 points to 16. My God, the Tigers, wow. I was really impressed with the West Tigers. They are a better team than I thought they were. Now, I put on a little cheeky first try score real late with Harry Grant, so I won $23 there, so that was quite nice. But, you know, Tigers got out to an early 10-0 lead. You know, the first try there went to Harry Grant, and then Jennings got over in the corner, and then Josh Dugan got a double real quick, and I'm like, fuck, here we go. The Sharks are in. Sharks are in front now. 16-10, they got in the lead at half time. At half time, the Sharks looked like they were going to run away with it. And then the Tigers found some momentum on the back of Marshall and Brooks. They were outstanding tonight, Marshall and Brooks. Great combination. They really played well together. Then the Tigers, they found some momentum through the middle. I thought Alex Twirl, Thomas McKaylee and Josh Alloway were really strong. I thought they played really well in the middle for the Tigers. I thought Luke Garner was outstanding. He was absolutely brilliant. Harry Grant was great for the Tigers, but Adam Dewey also another good mention, Adam Dewey. But it was on the back of Brooks and Marshall in the halves. They were just really strong there. The kicking game was great. I thought Marshall's kicking game was a bit off, but Luke Brooks, he was brilliant tonight, Luke Brooks. He just really controlled the side well. Great game management. I thought Benji did the same really well. When the Tigers were at 16-all, I was just sitting there going, Tigers got all the momentum here. If they stay patient and they just stay composed, they'll win this. The Tigers stay composed and they complete their sets, and they did just that. Tigers were brilliant. They ended up winning 28 points to 16. I thought it was a really good game of football. It was a very high quality game. Completion rates were good, and I thought it was probably the best game of the night. The Tigers were really strong. Probably the best game of the round so far. Well done to the West Tigers, and I wish them all the best next weekend against the Gold Coast. I give the West Tigers performance probably a 7.5 out of 10. A bit to work on. And I get the Sharks performance probably a 4 out of 10. They just slacked off. The last 10 minutes or so of the game was just poor from Cronulla. And Sharks get a 4 out of 10. Tigers get a 7.5 out of 10. Now let's go into the game that we just witnessed. The Raiders beating the Storm in Melbourne for the third time in a row. 22 points to 6. Boy, oh boy, I did not expect Canberra to win 13 plus. A good odds for 13 plus for the Canberra side. I've got to say though, Melbourne were fucking poor tonight. They were off their game. They were not good. Their errors, their completion rate was terrible. They completed at about would have been about 55-60%. It wasn't good for Melbourne. They made so many errors, considering it's in Melbourne and you think they'd be fresh, ready to go. They were terrible. Cameron Smith had a pretty off game. He might want to shave that fucking beard off. He might have a better game when he shaves the beard. I don't know what it was, but Max King kept making poor errors. I thought Melbourne's left side attack was so predictable. I thought the Storm's right side was shit. Jerome Hughes is not a halfback. I didn't care if you think he played well. I thought he was decent, but for fuck's sake, Jerome Hughes is not a halfback. He is not a halfback. He is not a controlling 7. He's more of a running player. He's similar to Nick Arima. If you go back in time for a minute, when Nick Arima was at Brisbane, he was playing the number 7. He can't control the side around. Jerome Hughes can't do that. He can't control the team. Jerome Hughes is not a halfback. For fuck's sake, he's more of a running player. Fuck me dead. But look, Melbourne were poor. Craig Bellamy was fuming. You can see Bellamy in the box. Fox League showed it a lot of times. Bellamy was getting up. He went for a walk. Probably punched the wall. Probably got an axe and threw it through something. Probably fucking pissed off. I thought Cameron Munster was pretty quiet. His kicking game was a bit off. Melbourne overall were just underwhelming. But I got to say, the Canberra side, the Raiders, they were fucking brilliant. George Williams, what a player. I warned everyone about George Williams. He's going to explode. He's going to be a good player. My God, he was absolutely outstanding. I think George Williams gets my man of the match tonight. He was out of this world, George Williams. That pass he threw to Nick Kotrick, that was just class. That's signs of a really good halfback. That's just quality, man. His kicking game was brilliant. His control was great. He ran the ball a bit, which was nice. That try there where Hodgson with the beautiful soft hands to Williams. Williams straight through. Back on the inside to Chance Nickel-Klokstad. That was a brilliant try from the Raiders. I thought Papali was really strong. He didn't play that many minutes. I think he played about 50, 60 minutes tonight. He didn't play a lot of minutes. I thought he was brilliant. Soliola was good. Josh Hodgson was great as usual. Hodgson just, if you watch the game, you probably think Hodgson didn't do much. But what Hodgson actually did, his leadership and his control around the ruck, what to do and what not to do, was just brilliant, man. Hodgson is a good player, I've got to say. Canberra's back line was pretty good. Curtis Scott was being a grub, but I mean, when you play Melbourne, you have to get under their skin, and Curtis Scott was doing that. He was pissing off Olam. He was fucking giving it to him. Curtis Scott was pissing everyone off tonight. You know, Canberra, I think they're a legit premiership contender. I've got them finishing second on the ladder. They might finish first yet. I believe Canberra are the real deal this year. They're a massive chance for the premiership. They should be favourites on the market now after that performance. They outplayed the Melbourne Storm tonight. They destroyed them through the middle. They outplayed them out wide. Their kicking game was on point. I can't name a bad player for the Raiders except, you know, maybe Croker was a bit quiet, but he was good in the first half. That pass he did for Rupp in his first try was brilliant. I thought the Raiders were outstanding tonight. They were just classy, the Raiders. Well done to the Canberra Raiders too. A fantastic win. They just proved to me and everyone else that they are contenders. They have now beaten the Melbourne Storm the last 3 times. And the last 3 times it was in Melbourne. They beat them last year in about round 22. They were down 18-0 and they come back and won. They beat them last year in the qualifying final with a try with 2 minutes to go. And they just went down there again in round 3 after a 10-week break. They went to Melbourne. They beat them in Melbourne 22-6. They absolutely outplayed the Melbourne Storm. Full credit to the Canberra Raiders. But all I got to say is, I feel sorry for South Sydney next week now because when Melbourne lose in Melbourne, doesn't happen 2 weeks in a row very often. So look out, South Sydney next week. Melbourne are going to want to fire up next week. And I won't be surprised if Craig Bellamy drops a few players because Melbourne tonight, I couldn't catch the ball. They kept making poor errors, poor decisions. Melbourne need to get a genuine halfback. Maybe bring Cooper Johns in. Maybe bring Riley Jackson or Nico Hines. Bring a genuine halfback in the side. You know, Jerome Hughes should be dropped tonight. You know, if you're talking about dropping players, I think in the Dragons game, Warriors game, Corey Norman should be dropped. I think in the Tigers Sharks game, I know Chad Townsend's going to be out injured. Did his hamstring, so that's a big loss. Big loss for Cronulla. And so Moreland probably going to follow. Actually, I thought Moreland was quite good for the Sharks tonight too. Going back to that Sharks-Tigers game, I thought Moreland played well for Cronulla. But look, I think Jerome Hughes should be dropped. He shouldn't be playing halfback. He's more of a fullback or a 5'8" or a centre. But I don't know. Hughes might need a week in reserve grade because he sure as hell ain't a halfback. Anyway, guys, I'll give the Raiders' performance tonight a 9 out of 10. I'll give Melbourne's about a 4. Melbourne were fucking terrible tonight. Anyway, guys, I'm getting out of here. Hope you guys enjoyed Super Saturday. Hope you guys enjoyed the Super Saturday football review. Make sure you guys go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Have a good one, guys.